So, we're about to have a new series coming up, a new long-term series called Family Trauma Story Hour. And these conversations are going to try to just be talking about what a situation that's going on, or explaining it to my grandchild. So this one is announcing a change in your young life, my grandchild. And I didn't want you to just, like, whatever the outcome is from this change in your life is probably not going to end up with you knowing the truth. Okay. So this is like an archive. Like, you'll know your family history if I keep a record of it as it's happening, and let you know the story and the detail of what's going on around you and around your situation while it's happening. In fact, your Bapu's about the only one in the whole world that's going to listen to you and help you remember. But at any rate, we often don't know when things go a little awry in our life. And I'm taking an opportunity to tell you some stories, to let you know it's August now. I suspect things will be very, very different for you by the time that the new year gets here, by the time I get to see you again. I'm going to try to come down and see you in December, but at that time, you'll already be feeling the effects of the changes that are happening in your life right now. But this letter isn't all bad. I don't want to talk about all bad things. So, besides trying to explain what's going on in your life right now, I want to tell you happy stories. I want to tell you happy stories about how Grandpa and me met. I want to tell you great stories about how Grandpa and me were partners in life together. I want to tell you stories, but these stories will start to turn a little darker, because pain comes in our lives, trauma happens in our lives, and things happen that are beyond our control, and things happen that we could have helped, that we could have fixed, that we could have done something about. But we're not trying to preach here. We're trying to just have a conversation that I'm having on this side of time to you. If you should ever come back here on this side, on your side of time, to see what's going on. So this is a new running series, just like the bonsai, only this one deals with real shit, just that family conversation shit. And if any viewers are interested in me vlogging my child's life, my grandchild's life, and the results of being not the best parent you could be, there it is. I'm a mommy vlogger. Anyway, shh. This is relaxed. Nobody's gonna look at it for a while. And I don't want to be all the facts, man. Just the facts. That's just not how things work. That's just not how life works. Okay, coffee time. Here's what's happening in your life, little one, little kitten. Your mother and your father are not living in a very financially stable situation. You have been spending some of your time you stay at your grandpa's house, okay, and some of the time you're staying at your other grandmother's house. And I don't know if your mother stays anywhere else, but I know that you've been out of your home visiting a lot. You know, that's what you do. Your mother doesn't seem she doesn't believe that your grandpa is going to move. She doesn't. Your grandpa has pampered her. Your grandfather has pampered her. He's what's known as he gives, and whatever his motives are, and whatever kind of conversation you'll ever hear about who he is when he's angry, who he is when he's hurt, who he is when he can be just a dickhead. Okay, all these things, because a human being has got a big long story. A human being is a big round circle. So you are going to hear all different stories. Let me tell you about my husband. I'll be telling you about my husband. We met in the Army. It was AIT. I had just signed up to go back. I failed my first school, and then I joined active duty, and then I went to another training school to learn my active duty job. And a bunch of new recruits had come in, also going to AIT to learn their jobs. So, he was also coming back into a new training position. Anyway, I didn't know who he was at the time. I just heard a voice being yelled at from the front of the entire company. Are you motivated, soldier? And then I hear him, yes, Drill Sergeant, I'm motivated, Drill Sergeant. It was way in the back. I didn't hear this man. I didn't see this man. I just heard him, yes, Drill Sergeant, I'm motivated, Drill Sergeant, hoorah! And they were picking on him because his previous MOS, his previous job in the Army was he was an infantry, so he was a fighting soldier. And so they were just really hazing him over that, because he's gone to mechanic school now. I'm sorry. I'm not sorry. I was proud of him. But I didn't fall in love with him like that. No. I mean, I was attracted to one of his two friends. So there was three of us, and we used to hang out. But I was trying to get the other guy, to get with the other guy, and anyway, we played D&D, all four of us. We had a little group, and we'd meet up in the barracks, and like the bay was a big, everybody slept there, so when everybody else was out and about doing things, we would go sneak into there, sit around and play D&D. Didn't bother nobody, And then on the weekends, at least once, we'd get the hotel room. We'd all chip in for a hotel room and drink, play more D&D. Like I said, I was hoping to get the other guy, but when we'd run out of stuff to drink, your the friend said, I guess we'll go out on a beer run. Which means to go get more beer. And and your grandfather, see, he was into the game. I mean, he was so into this game. Like, he's anxious. Like, oh, we're gonna go here. We're gonna do this. Let's keep moving. Keep moving. So when the party stopped, because we ran out of drink, he's like, well, now what are we gonna do? I mean, well, now what? To which my very inebriated self said, wanna cuddle? That's PG rated, of course. Hey, from then on out, well, we inseparable. We talked all the time. We talked about the D&D. We talked about our lives. We talked about the army. We went to the movies. We talked about the movie. We developed an entire elaborate world that only he and I lived in. Not in a psychotic or sick or an imagination. No, man. We interpreted the world together. We could read each other's minds. We knew how we felt about everything. We talked about everything. We tried all the fantasies. We went all the places. We bought the big stereo with the turntable and the tape deck and the record, and everything. Equalizer. We did all that. We were drinking buddies. We solved financial problems like our first Christmas. Our first Christmas. Alright, babes. We're living in Alaska. We only got no car. We live about, I wouldn't call it a mile. Maybe I'd call it a quarter mile. I don't know. We live about a quarter mile from the grocery store. And this is the first time we ever bought groceries. This was the first time we ever grew up, lived on our own. And the Army made us live together, so, because we got married. Oh, there's so many more stories I can tell you about the marriage, but these stories are not going to be in chronological order. I don't think life happens in chronological order. But at any rate, the story I'm telling about our first Christmas. So we didn't have any furniture, okay? We just got the house. And the Army gave us some loaner furniture, but we only had that for a short amount of time. So we went off, drove around, looked at the pawn shops, and happened to find some old Army loaner furniture that they don't use no more, and this guy had it, and this guy sold it to us, and we sold it, we bought it. But the thing is, I don't know, we might have spent about $2,000, $1,000, I don't know what it was, but our payment, we had to make a payment of $500 recurrently, so it was probably monthly for 3 or 4 months. So that would be ours. And you know what's nice or interesting or just the magic of life is that some of that could be, so some of those furnitures could still be in existence right around your neighborhood, kiddo. I remember the last time I saw our coffee table. It was at Uncle Bubby's mother's house or Uncle Bubby's house. I don't know, but all I'm saying is I probably won't know Uncle Bubby, but maybe your Uncle Cypher or your mom might very, very but vaguely. The last time they knew them, Uncle was 4. Mom was about 9. She went to a new school. She went to a 3rd grade at a new school for a couple months. Why? Because somebody caused us drama in our life and messed with our family and caused a separation. Which brings me back again to something's happening in your life right now that you're going to want to make sense of later. And that is that your grandfather is moving to Nevada. And your uncle might be moving as well. After a tiny while, after your grandfather goes, then your uncle's gonna go. Because they need better financial stability. They need better jobs. They need better opportunities. They need a new situation. The situation around you has been very stressed, very, 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 very resistful, angry, sad, dysfunctional. We're dysfunctional. Dysfunctional can also, no time for jokes in this moment, but a lot of families are dysfunctional, kid. And the only ones that make the best of it are those that are willing to face the truth and speak the truth, even if it hurts. Because families cry together, families laugh together, families grow together. But dysfunctional families keep everybody down. Keep that one who wants to grow and lead the way, they keep them down. Wants to come together, they don't come together. And our family had one heck of a hard time doing that coming together thing. We did it. What I'm proud of your grandfather for is how we have the ability to come together. We have the ability to do good and pull. And when emergency rised up, me and your dad stepped up, took care of any challenge. And we never, not until toward the end, did we ever really actively feel bad against each other. But because I was always depressed and he was always depressed, and we were both trying to just live. We describe our marriage at a certain stage as we're miserably happy. We were happy just being in our separate ways, sitting there together. We did things together occasionally, and we had a good time. But we just never dealt with our emotional problems together. We just never dealt with our relationships together because we didn't want to bring up the hard feelings, because we didn't know what to do with them. Your family, the one you're living with now, is like that. Your mother is like that. She does not know how to deal with her problems. She does not know how to solve her problems. At least at the date of recording this video, she does not. And she doesn't seem to be showing any interest. I wasn't supposed to bash your mom. I'm not supposed to do that to you. I'm also not a hypocrite that's going to say I was perfect and erase the last 19 minutes of this real interaction. Lily. your grandfather has been paying a lot of your mother's bills, the insurance, gas money. He's been trying to encourage her to find a better job, but she has a hard time with self-motivation. And she also doesn't like to be led, controlled, and pushed and moved forward. And that's a facts. Facts is facts. We can change our facts. Facts don't gotta stay the way they are. But as of this date, if your grandpa stays, he's preventing her from growing up. Because all of his talking, all of his money, all of his planning, all of his trying, she's using it as a crutch. As long as somebody will let her, she will not be independent. And your grandfather, his body is old. His body is tired. His heart is sick. Hearts get sick when they need love. Hearts get sick when they need pain, when they're in pain. Hearts get sick and they need to heal. That's why I moved away. Long time before that you were to come. I moved away because my life was falling apart around me. Everything was deteriorating. Bugs were taking over. My self-hatred was... I hated myself. Which is not the right way to go. Because we have something in us, all of us. We all have a spark. We all have something we love. We all have something that somebody told us that we couldn't be. Or didn't want to give us time to be it. Doesn't mean that's not who we are. So, I said to myself, I've got things I want to do with my life. I want to write. I want to read. I want to teach. I want to grow. I want to be spiritual. I want to find God. I have things I want to do with my soul. And sure as hell, sitting there in my house watching YouTube constantly, sitting in my own squalor, the house falling apart. I mean, the walls were falling apart because there were so many cockroaches. I did not love myself at all. And for all of me trying so desperately to come up with a plan for both of us, your mother and me, to get moving, to get ready to move forward. She was going to be a grown-up soon. You know, she was still in school, and then she graduated. Then we had a few years after she graduated. Time to come up with a plan. But the plans weren't doable. The plans weren't realistic. This is a time in history whenever people went to college and get college degrees that are just ridiculous, that don't give you jobs. I took one. I became a massage therapist, and I never worked as a massage therapist, but a handful of times. She didn't make it to college because the price was outrageous. I don't know, $90,000 per semester. I don't know. All I know was a fancy art school, and she would have been a party school. That unless she were exceptional, probably wouldn't get her anywhere. She would have to appeal to advertising, perhaps, graphic design somewhere. There are jobs such as these, but you really have to apply yourself. In fact, you've got to apply yourself to everything Any dream that you want, you can have. But you don't have it by dreaming. You don't have it by waiting for the right opportunity. You don't have it by waiting for somebody to recognize it out of you and say, oh my God, you're wonderful and perfect. Come on, be a star. This things does not happen. And neither does it happen that you can continue to take from somebody who wants to help you get set up to move forward and get you on your track. And you consistently just take. You can't do that. You can't do that. What's going to happen in a couple months is your mother is going to get a taste of the real world for the first time in her life. And it's not a happy time. Which means when she goes through her next depression, she's really not going to get any comfort taking it out on her, on your dad. She's not going to get any real comfort taking. Eventually, no one's going to want to hear it. It's not that I've grown compassion less. I have much compassion. But I do believe in cause and effect. I'm not interested in coddling her. I'm not interested in comforting her. I've tried to feed her words, truth, wisdom, power, determination. Feed it to her. For your sake. For her sake. And I don't know how she's going to do. I don't know how she's going to do when the future happens. Hope. My best hope in the whole universe she's a deep roller. Sink or swim. A necessity makes power. A dragon. A phoenix. That's her core. That's her strong. She knows herself there. That's what she needs to find. This woman, your mother. If she wants a comfort, she finds it. If she wants a thing, she gets it. I've just told you she hasn't tried anything. Of course. But she can when she has no other way. This is how we use our selfishness in our favor sometimes. She gets up in her feelings. It hurts. And she doesn't deal with them. I wish you the mental courage to deal with yourself like an intelligent human being. Because that's what you are. You are an intelligent human being, no matter who does what on you. You're independent. And you can deal with whatever happens to you your way. You don't have to believe jack shit if somebody tries to tell you about yourself. You can believe in yourself. as long as you are not deluding yourself, as long as you are motivating, moving forward, and giving yourself a reason to believe in who you are, and then it just gets stronger and stronger. Then you become unstoppable. Nothing can stop you. You'll make your way. You'll get what you want. Your mother has that in her. She needs to find it. And you, my darling, you have a intelligent, a very brilliant sense of discovery. Saw this little video of you opening and closing the refrigerator door. I see the brightness in your eyes. I see the confidence in your step. I don't mind saying so, but I've seen a lot of babies your age, and they look dull. They don't look like they're paying near as much attention to life as you are. So, girl, strength and power, glory and wisdom, mercy, kindness, gentle compassion and protection. We got these pinkies. Meet some girl. Alright. First Christmas story. Okay. We had the furniture. And then we paid our bills. And so now we have Christmas spending money. And so we're gonna split that up and we're gonna buy each other stuff. We're gonna make Christmas. And geez, we had a whole bunch of money. I was surprised. But we had enough money. I forgot about the groceries. I forgot to subtract the groceries. See, we bought, man, Grandma told the story all backwards, but we bought $300 worth of groceries because we were kids and we didn't know how to shop for food. So, but in 1991 or 92, $300 worth of groceries was a big cart covered, heap it over, and we pushed the cart quarter-mile to the house. And okay, that's Christmas food. Now let's go to the big city and buy Christmas shopping. Well, I wanted to learn how to play guitar, so he bought me an electric guitar, an Ibanez, and he bought me an amp. I still have the amp. I don't know if it works, but I still have it. And then I bought him AC/DC Live and a couple other things. So I'm sitting here going, wow, wow, bing, bing, dong, bing, bing, doing. Okay? I don't know anything. And he puts in Agnes Young, who's dancing and kicking across the stage. I'm like, well, gee, that's not a confidence booster. There have been lots of times where me and your grandfather would not be able to get along and take some time away from each other a couple times. And he knew how to get me back every single time. It wasn't some kind of magic. It was the power of the bond that we made together. Things we've been through. The depth that we knew each other. We knew who each other were. We loved each other for who we were. He really didn't try to change me at all. And I was thrilled to be alive around him. And he wanted to be there and he wanted to provide, and boy did he. You know, he provided not just stuff, not the stuff. He provided the companionship. He provided the dream fulfillment. I mean, he made pretend band with us, for us. He did it because he wanted his life with us the way it was. But instead of knowing how to solve the problem, the bitterness, every little thing come up in between both of us. And he wanted me to be like his friends. His friends wanted to know why I couldn't be more normal. And I'm not normal, and I never will be. I never will be. And because of that, I was even more depressed and more kept myself away from people. Now I do it. Not because I'm afraid of them, or not because I can't impress them, but because I fuck them. But heck, if I'd had that attitude back then, I might have been liked. But I didn't. So it is. I don't know what's going to happen in your future. But I know you're going to hear some ugly stories about your grandpa. And this isn't to say that the ugly stories aren't true, because nothing is one side or the other. Nothing, not ever. When I look at him, though there may be some kind of patterns of this or that, I don't believe that his behavior is that of an abuser. There are lots of negative traits in both of us. So that's why we try to teach you guys not to trust anybody, but to be self-sufficient. We tried. When I decided, oh yeah, I made a lot of decisions in the relationship. I wouldn't say we were a matriarchal run family. We weren't. We weren't a trad family. I wanted to be. I wanted to be a regular old housewife. And guess what he tried to provide for me? I got to be a regular old housewife. And guess what I did with it? Escapism. I didn't do as much attentive behavior as I should have. Like I said, human. I forget what I was going to say, though. I was probably going to say, oh, this video is too long, but maybe it's not too long. Maybe it doesn't even speak about anything. Maybe you can listen and feel good. Maybe you can listen and know that I care about this thing that's happening in your life right now. From now on, hopefully I won't always have tragedies to tell you. A tragedy is about to happen in your life. Of course, sometimes your grandfather can catastrophize, and that's a negative personality trait. You shouldn't let other people tell you what your worldview is. But She's going to hate him when he leaves. She's going to blame him. And I don't know how that's going to affect her behavior. Because now there is nobody in her life to be her safety net. And the ones that are her safety net are going to be very, very stressed out with her in a short time. This video is my prayer for you to find a safe place to nurture yourself, nurture your heart, find a safe place in your soul. I had one. I invented it. I would be careful who you trust with telling your secret inventions to, because you can't trust anybody, only yourself. But you got to train yourself to be trustworthy. You must learn to depend on yourself, and you must rise up to the nature of your demand. But you must also listen to yourself and kind of go lightly. Go with the flow. Don't expect your desire to appear. Only respond to the thing that is happening. That's the way to minimize most damage. Don't hold on to resentment. Don't hold on to gain or loss. And if you have a feeling, feel it. Observe it. Study it. Improve upon yourself. And if somebody that you think should be better than you cannot be, then you must learn to grow your own wisdom. That's about all I gotta say about it. Alright, I told first Christmas. Oh, I didn't finish time. Our check bounced, obviously. $300 that went into my guitar. So we had to go get our very first signature loan to cover our butts. And you know what the truth is? I don't remember that we had a fight about that. I think I remember we laughed about it as soon as that cashier's check, the bank loan was gotten. We found it funny. Your grandfather always looked at the things that I did as mistakes and said, "Did you learn something from it?" All right then. He was more interested that we moved on from something. And he's been wallowing in the same place for a very long time now. And it's bound to have its effects on a man's soul and on a man's heart. A man who wants to give, provide, and see that for him, the benefit of his giving is to see the fruit of what he's invested in. And I'll tell you something. I love your grandfather. Love him to this day. Just can't handle his lack of self-knowledge. I just can't handle his not yet being healed himself. And I've started healing, and then I grew into another direction that just can't be where he's at right now. But he is a wonderful person, and he will get there. He'll get there. He'll work on himself. He knows what love is. I know what love is too. That's why our relationship hasn't ended ugly. Hasn't ended with me hating or him hating. Although there's a lot of room for resentment and bitterness between us if we wanted to hold on to it, but we can't. We moved on. What did we learn from it? And let's move on. That's what you got to do. I guess I don't have any reason to say anything personal. I thought I was going to make it a very personal video, but this is the video that came out. I mean internally. It's the video that came out. I think I said everything, though. Two to 3, maybe 4 months. She'll be less homeless than she is now. And if she wants to run to me, I can only keep one other person in this house. It'll be you. If she could self-motivate, it wouldn't even take very long for her to figure out a situation. I'm afraid. I'm terrified. But she's already proven that she'll take advantage of a handout. Therefore, there cannot be any for me. Not that I could afford it anyhow. But if I love her, I have to. Not shield her from the consequences of her decisions, which, no matter what she'll say about how terrible I was, and how nasty and yelly and screamy and hateful I've said things, well, you do see how I tried to insult myself instead of standing up for myself on what I was saying, and now I forgot what I was going to say to you. That's the devil. Don't let that devil get you. She might say all those things if I choose to properly mother her. But the fact is, if I gave her comfort, if I gave her playhouse again, then she will have no reason to become grown. And if she's going to continue down this path, then she probably deserves the consequences. But unfortunately, you don't deserve the consequences. So, pray that she's a real, high stakes, high accomplishment. That's my wish. I am. I am that. I pray that she does not allow herself to fall so far down under that she would deteriorate. I pray that you have what you have, your compassionate awareness and wisdom. Girl, I knew you from beyond the... I knew you. I know who you are. Don't let anybody snuff out who you are. And I'm the one that you can talk to. My only fear is that they'll hide me from you and you'll never be interested in me. Or they'll spoil you rotten and make you a terrible person, an ugly person. And then you'll hate me just because I look funny and I talk about serious things. That's my fear. And if that's the way it is, great. I still love you, whoever you are. I wish we could have a relationship and do it right. And when I made babies, I said to Timmy, hey, I want to know if we can make good humans. I guess nobody can, because we're not good humans. So at any rate, to the memory void of a new playlist, this goes. Life is going to be hard. Make the best of it. Enjoy every little moment. It's not about the money. It's about the quality of the time you spend doing the thing you're doing, and always be aware of what you're doing. Always. Anyway. I think that didn't hit it. Good night.